Hello, my name is Alexis Scott.
Yelling Nero.
I'm Desiree Kanemoto.
I'm Esther Gould.
I'm Freshta Mirapur.
And we're seniors from Pleasant Grove High School's Biomedical Academy, and this is our presentation on our emergency room design.
The purpose of the emergency room design project is for students to develop a deeper understanding of how an ER works and to discuss and find solutions to the common problems that they face daily. In this project, we will use our knowledge and collaborate with our peers to create a faster and more efficient ER room that addresses common complaints and increases the quality of patient care.
In the following slides, we'll discuss common issues encountered in ER rooms and discuss a potential floor plan as well as several innovations, including check-in kiosks, patient tracking wristbands, and advanced patient room technology to address these issues.
Common complaints of the ER room consist of long wait time, crowded facilities, limited staffing, lack of communication, and tedious paperwork. With the chaos happening in emergency rooms, the amount of time until a patient is assisted by a nurse or seen by a doctor can be lengthy. This irritates many who visit the emergency room due to the fact that they are visiting because they are in pain and expect to be seen as soon as possible. The long wait time is also due to how crowded facilities can get with constant self-patient check-ins and those who arrived in the ambulance. With limited rooms and staffing, not all patients can be accommodated as fast as they would like to be. There is a limited amount of staffing on duty in order to save money, therefore they can only accommodate so many patients at a time. With so many patients constantly checking in, the level of care each room receives may decrease, due to nurses needing to go through patients quicker. This may increase risk of injury of the patients or delay medication, which could also harm the patient's well-being. With nurses and other staff members having to do constant rounds, there may be a tendency to forget to update the family of members of their loved one's condition. There is a lack of communication between staff and visitors that sometimes may aggravate those who are worried about their family members who are checked into the hospital. They want constant updates, which may be hard to get with the lack of staff around and chaos happening in the emergency room. When entering the emergency rooms, there are also forms that must be filled out by patients in order for the nurse or doctor to get an understanding of the condition they are in and any personal information needed. This may be tedious to the patient who is in a lot of pain and hard to fill out by hand due to the state that they are currently in.
This is a general overview of our physical layout. Our ER room is separated into 3 sections in order to improve the flow and efficiency. We will discuss each section in more detail. The first section is a check-in waiting area. Our emergency room will contain a large entrance and exit that will make it easy for patients and staff to pass through upon entry or when they are leaving. The check-in desk will directly be in front of our entrance. This makes our emergency room more welcoming and will allow the patients to have immediate access to staff if they have questions, need directions, or need any other help. Additionally, the check-in desk will be near the waiting room area, allowing patients to have easy access to staff if needed. As previously mentioned, the waiting room is directly next to the main check-in area. This waiting room is significantly large, spanning nearly across the whole emergency room. This will address the common issue of there not being enough space in the waiting area of the emergency room, making it less impacted, making the waiting room more comfortable and increasing the quality of emergency room experience. Additionally, there will be a playing room in the waiting room, which keeps children occupied in times of stress, which relieves some stress from the parents, further improving the quality of emergency room experience. Lastly, the wait rooms will have 2 doors that nurses and staff can travel through when moving patients from the waiting room to patient rooms. It additionally allows patients to access the bathrooms, which will be discussed in the next section of the ER. This section of the ER will also contain 2 triage rooms, one traditional triage room that will be used for nurses to evaluate patients and one that contains digital kiosks for patients to register themselves, which we will go into more detail later in the presentation. Additionally, these triage rooms will have 2 doors, one in the front and one in the back of the room. This ensures safety for nurses evaluating patients, since there are some instances where the people that enter the ER and need assistance being evaluated are under the influence or have other conditions that could lead them to being violent and hostile. The extra door will help the nurse or staff escape dangerous situations if necessary. Lastly, this part of the ER will contain the main storage unit and an emergency exit. The next section of our layout includes the doctor and nurses station, utilities, and standard patient rooms. The doctors and nurses station is located in the center so that they have easy access to all parts of the ER. Waiting room, patient room, storage, critical care, which is located right above the doctor's nurses station, and will allow them to efficiently travel throughout the ER and provide faster care. The walls will be made of reinforced glass that allows nurses and doctors located inside of the room to see outside. However, from the outside, the walls are mirrors, preventing people from outside from seeing the inside of the station. This ensures privacy, since the station will include a large digital whiteboard, which we will discuss later in the presentation, that will display patient and staff information that cannot be seen by the public, but will also allow the staff inside of the station to see what is happening outside and keep an eye out on all parts of the emergency room. This area also contains the standard patient rooms for patients that are not in critical condition, which will include a bed, other necessary medical equipment, and bathrooms that improve comfort and the quality of patient experience. Additionally, the trauma rooms are located in this area. These rooms are for patients who are not in critical condition but need care relatively quick. Bathrooms are located here so that they're accessible to those in the waiting room, and it keeps those from waiting in the bathroom out of the way of staff who needs to travel to different patient rooms. Lastly, this area contains large hallways that improve the flow of the ER and allows the staff and patients to travel around the ER quickly and efficiently, since the large space minimizes traffic and helps people avoid running into others. This part of the emergency room contains the ambulance entrance, which we made separate from the main entrance so that those who need immediate assistance can receive attention faster, given that they will not be caught up in the commotion from patients located on the other side of the ER. Additionally, there will be another triage located in this area, which allows nurses to evaluate patients that arrive via an ambulance faster. Additionally, this room can be used as an emergency patient room if necessary. This area includes the critical care rooms so that they are near the ambulance entrance, and it will be easy to transfer patients to the rooms. There will also be wide hallways that allow easy transportations of patients in critical condition, staff who need to travel around the ER to attend patients quickly, and eases the transportation movement of equipment that is moved throughout the ER. Additionally, there will be separate storage unit for easy access to different equipment and supplies needed by staff in the critical care area, and preventing them from having to travel across the ER to the main storage unit. Lastly, this area will contain the radiology room and radiology closet that can be used to screen patients if needed to provide proper diagnosis and improve quality of care.
Next, we will discuss our first innovation. As mentioned above, our ER will contain 2 triage rooms near the entrance, one traditional and one that contains kiosks for self-check-in and registration and basic triage evaluation. Allowing patients to register themselves significantly reduces wait time, since the electronic check-in process avoids tedious paperwork, and a majority of people are more comfortable and familiar with technology, which leads to them filling out information faster and more efficiently. Additionally, patients do not have to wait for receptionists to check them in or nurses to evaluate them, which helps reduce wait time and allows nurses to focus on other issues in the ER and help patients who are in more critical condition that need immediate assistance with checking in and being evaluated so that they could receive immediate care. Additionally, this process allows patients to have more control over their medical experience, which often brings more satisfaction and minimizes data entry errors, since patients enter data themselves as opposed to staff doing it, because usually staff entering data leads to transfer errors. This also allows patients to enter or update any missing information from a medical file, which improves the quality of care since doctors are able to work with their updated information. This method is also beneficial because it minimizes human contact, which is very important, especially during the times of a pandemic. As for privacy, the kiosks will be spread out throughout the triage room, which keeps the screens out of sight from other people in the room and ensures that your information remains private. Additionally, in order to address potential identification issues, the patient must scan their medical/hospital ID card in order to access the kiosks and log into their profile that displays their medical information. This ensures that no one can steal or have access to information that is not theirs. If their card is not available, they can still get registered by a nurse through the traditional method. This device will also ask if the patient is still using it after a certain amount of time that they do not interact with the screen, and they will have to scan their ID card once again in order to continue using. If there are any issues, the patients are able to ask staff for help, which is convenient given that the check-in area is located right next to the triage. Patients will also be able to access a digital map of the ER through the kiosks, which makes the ER experience easier for patients since they will have an idea where everything is located. Lastly, once they are done, the kiosks log out of the profile automatically, ensuring that the person who uses it next will not have access to the previous patient's information. After the patients check in and evaluate their concerns, they will be introduced to our next innovation, which is the digital wristbands. After checking in and evaluating concerns via self-check-in or nursing staff, patients will receive a digital wristband. These wristbands will track important vitals such as heart rate and temperature, and the information will be stored in a system that nurses will be able to access via a mobile device. Along with having access to the patient's vitals, this mobile device also stores the information gained from the self-check-in and triage, such as the symptoms, medical history, etc., so that nurses can access it at any location in the hospital. This information will also be stored in a digital whiteboard located in the nurse and doctor station, which keeps it out of the public eye and ensures patient privacy. This whiteboard also allows staff to have a clear overview of the ER since it displays where staff and patients are located, rooms available, along with information that is gathered from the patient's check-in process. And it overall helps improve the communication and dynamic throughout the hospital since each staff member will be on the same page and have the same information. Additionally, if the vitals reach a concerning level, nurses will be alerted via their mobile devices and will be able to tend to the patients who need immediate care. The wristbands are beneficial because they help with the triage process in providing specific data that allows the staff to more accurately prioritize which patients that require help first. Additionally, it addresses the issue of patients being uncomfortable or not having the ability to ask nurses for help when they are located in the waiting room, since the wristbands will automatically notify the nurses when the patient needs help so that they could give them help. Along with tracking vitals, these wristbands will have a GPS to track the patient's location, which the staff can see on the whiteboard and on their mobile devices. This feature helps address the concern of the difficulty locating patients once they are in the ER. As a result of being able to locate patients faster, they will be able to receive care faster, which once again decreases wait time. Additionally, it helps track down patients that leave the premises of the hospital when they're not supposed to. This being patients who are under the influence or have conditions that cause them to be confused and try to leave the hospital when they're not supposed to. Lastly, only staff is able to deactivate and remove wristbands, so they will be able to remove them from the patient after the patient receives care or the services they need, or if the patient wants to leave the ER in general, given that they're in a position or under the condition that they are allowed to leave.
Our last innovation will be advanced patient room technology. So the first form of technology will primarily be located in the standard patient rooms, so the ones that are not for critical care. There will be cameras located around the room and on the nurse's mask. This live footage recorded by cameras can be streamed to a physician or a specialist not located directly in the ER so that they are able to see what the nurse sees and help with the patient evaluation and consultation without having to be directly located in the room. This feature can be used when the emergency room is impacted and when there's a limited availability of staff. The video of the physician assistant with the consultation will be displayed on a large monitor located on the walls of the patient room. And this feature increases the quality of care for patients since they are able to receive help from the necessary specialists or physician at any time. This is especially beneficial in rural areas since they tend to have limited access to a variety of specialists or emergency rooms with limited staff. Additionally, this allows doctors located inside the ER to focus on patients in critical condition and increase their chances of survival and well-being, which further improves the quality of care. In addition to the virtual consultation and evaluation system, there will be disinfecting misters located throughout each room, including the trauma and critical care rooms. And a button can be located outside of the door that the nurse will push once the patient in the room is done receiving care. And this button will activate the misters that have disinfecting solution, spraying it throughout the room. This addresses the issue of ER staff not having the ability to quickly and efficiently sanitize operation rooms after they have been in use, and also decreases wait time since rooms will be cleaned faster and therefore will be available for use faster.
As part of their uniform, all staff members are required to wear a badge. Their badge contains their name, a picture of themselves, the company, and now a tracking pin which will serve as our patient and staff tracking system. The pin in their badge allows for GPS location and tracks each staff member's movement and records the amount of time each worker spends in each room they enter. At the threshold of each door, there is a scanner that scans each time an employee enters and exits the door through the pin that is installed into their badge. The pin is customized for each individual worker, meaning no worker has the same pin number, which allows for each employee to be differentiated and identified.
Using this patient or staff tracking system helps reduce the amount of work that needs to be done by hand. For example, if the system can record interactions between patients and staff, there is no need to manually enter in logs. In addition, displaying the general location of staff and their interactions with patients on an electronic whiteboard can help other staff judge where their help is most needed. Staff can judge which patients still haven't been checked up on and which need attention. Finally, recording the interactions between patients and staff is helpful for contact tracing, especially in today's COVID-19 pandemic.
This project allowed us to learn more about emergency rooms and the different aspects that allow it to function. We learned about common factors that decreases emergency room efficiency and used critical thinking skills to help find solutions. We hope that our presentation offered some alternatives that helps improve the efficiency of emergency rooms and increases the quality of patient care. Through this project, we developed our critical thinking skills and hope to use them in the future.
Lastly, these are our works cited slides, and thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and we really hope it helps make an impact and provide solutions for future use. Thank you.
Thank you.